What's going on, YouTube? What's going on, Texas Nation? Lord of Houston, known as LTH, coming at you with a video. 713 the Bio City, we up in here. H-Town stand up. So, the 53-man roster has been set and 27 moves have been made, including the trade that took place earlier. So, I'm gonna name the players that were waived/released today. And as I can see, the players that were waived were Graylin Arlen, defensive back, Jalen Camp, wide receiver Jalen Camp, who had a TD catch against the Saints, Drew Estrada, wide receiver, defensive back Jacoby Francis, tight end Seth Green. I'm thinking he was an undrafted free agent, if I'm not mistaken. Wide receiver Johnny Johnson III, who caught the winning touchdown against the Saints in preseason. Tristan McCullen, defensive back. Offensive lineman Jimmy Morrissey. Defensive lineman, forgive me if I don't pronounce his name right, but Adedeo Odeli. Forget it. Fullback Paul Keesenberry. Offensive lineman Mack Sharpen, who was under the Bill O'Brien era. Offensive lineman Jordan Steckler, offensive lineman Trevor Wallace Sims, wide receiver Connor Weddington. And now for the players that were released were tight end Anthony Auclair, defensive back Terrence Brooks, Chris Conley, wide receiver Chris Conley, who we signed last offseason. Jeff Driscoll, quarterback, who had 2 winning drives in preseason, but is eligible to join the practice squad. Defensive lineman Damone Harris. Running back Marlon Mack, which gonna lead to Damian Pierce likely being running back 1. Offensive lineman Cedric Agabuhi. Kevin Pierre-Louis, linebacker, which I find that surprising because I was confident he'd make it. Tight end Mason Schreck, and the guy who nearly had a pick against San Francisco is defensive back Isaac Yeadom. And the player that was waived while injured was Kendall Sheffield, defensive back, and injured reserve was Derek Rivers, the lineman, who delivered some sacks in preseason. And there are some players that I just named could end up coming back to the practice squad at best. And I say Kevin Pierre-Louis, Terrence Brooks, and Isaac Yeadom are one of them. One of the 3. So there's that, and it's good to see that Brevin Jordan's gonna end up making the 53-man roster, despite the fact that he had a disappointing preseason, and of course another player who disappointed was Ross Blacklock, who I see as a draft bust, by the way, who was traded to the Minnesota Vikings. Houston sent Blacklock and a 6th-round pick to the Vikings. No. 7th-round pick for a 6th-round pick. So with that trade, that leaves Houston with no 7s. But at the same time, I feel like Nick Caserio is doing his job in continuing to eliminate all the mistakes that Bill O'Brien created during his tenure here as GM. So I can't be too mad at that, man, because I had high hopes for Blacklock when he first came to Houston, but it just didn't pan out. So now Blacklock is part of the Minnesota Vikings. I actually wish him the best in Vikings Nation. Hopefully he can pan out there. So, and I also expect more from Brevin Jordan, in 2021, because it's year 2 and he got to ball out. So Damian Pierce is likely going to be the RB1 because of how he looked in preseason. And Marlon Mack had some good runs too, but I was hoping Marlon Mack and Pierce would be a 1-2 punch, but with him being Marlon Mack being released, it's likely not the case to be exact. But it is what it is. You know, since I'm not upset about Rex Burkhead being running back 2 of the Texans, so it is what it is. So, and 53-man roster is officially set. And I gotta say, the 53-man roster Houston has is, yeah, they're pretty young, but doesn't look as bad as it seems, by the way. But looking forward to see how Davis Mills performs in year 2, because that guy, he's got the ball out. Can't afford to have a crappy 2022. Can't afford no major injury, because there are a lot of quarterbacks getting drafted in 2023 to be exact. So I'll just leave it at that. Till my next video, which include prediction videos of 2022. 713 to Bayou City, LTH checking on the body here. Go Houston Texans.